Hey guys, I'm Hari, I'm the guy behind Logically Answered, and I'm indeed not a robot. With that out of the way, let's jump straight into the questions. First up, we have how old am I? I am 19 years old and I was born on February 1st, 2002. This question was actually asked by my brother, and he has his own YouTube channel as well. He is almost at 1,000 subscribers, and I think it would really make his day if you guys could go ahead and check it out. That would be awesome. Anyway, the next question is, am I Indian? And the answer is, yes, I am Indian and I speak Tamil. But I was born in New York and I've lived in America for the entirety of my life. When I was 3 years old, we moved to Austin, Texas, and we've been here ever since and I love it here. Can I do a face reveal? Well, here you have it. But my face isn't actually a secret. My first few hundred videos actually show my face all the time. Next up, we have, am I married and do I have a significant other? Well, I'm only 19 years old, so I'm not married, and I don't have a significant other either. Moving on to occupational questions, we have where do I work / am I a student? Well, I'm a student at the University of Texas at Austin, and I'm majoring in aerospace engineering. I'm currently a junior, and the plan is to graduate in December of 2022. Now, I know a lot of you guys will be wondering why I chose aerospace engineering and if I want to pursue a career in aerospace engineering. Well, honestly, I have no intention of actually getting a job as an aerospace engineer. The reason I chose to be an aerospace engineer major was because I wanted to be a pilot, and that seemed to be the most correlated. If YouTube and entrepreneurship doesn't work out, the backup plan is still to become a pilot. I would say I'm decent at physics and engineering, and I find it quite interesting. But in terms of a career, I don't really have any plans of becoming an actual aerospace engineer. Next up, we have what is my background in finance? Well, finance has been one of my biggest passions, and I've been involved in the stock market, trading, and investing since I was 14-15 years old. I think the stock market and real estate are the two best investments in the world, and whether you're running a business or working a 9 to 5, I think it's awesome to have exposure to both stocks and real estate. If I went down the pilot route and I didn't have a YouTube channel, I would say my biggest side hustle would probably be building up a rental portfolio. In terms of financial achievements and honors, I would say my biggest milestone so far was winning ICDC, or the International Career Development Conference in the category of Personal Finance in 2019. DECA and ICDC were by far one of the best experiences in my life, and if you're in high school and considering joining DECA, I would highly recommend it. Next up, can I play the piano? Well, I actually really like playing the piano, but I would say my specialty is playing the violin. I started playing violin on my 5th birthday and I've been playing ever since, so it's been about 14 years now. I'm not a pro by any means, but if y'all are interested in how I sound, I'll leave a link down below to me playing Mendelssohn. Moving into questions about the channel itself, we have why did I call the channel Logically Answered? There's really no specific reason that I named it Logically Answered. I thought it was a pretty broad name that described everything that I like to talk about. Originally, the channel was actually called Hari's Hobbies, but I thought Logically Answered sounded a lot better. Next up, we have what made you start YouTube? Well, I don't actually have anything against 9 to 5s. If you work a 9 to 5, make a solid income, and like your job, that's perfect. But I always wanted to do something bigger and reach a lot more people, and YouTube seemed to be the easiest way to do so. Since I was like 10-11 years old, I would always make videos for all of my school projects. In fact, if you go back to the first videos on this channel, they're all school projects. So I really liked making videos, and YouTube was one of the easiest businesses to start, so for me, it was a no-brainer. But something I should note is that I pushed off making a YouTube channel for so long. I created this channel in August of 2012 and I instantly started posting videos. Unfortunately, I deleted all of those videos years ago and I wish I didn't because now we can go back and look at them. It wasn't anything really crazy though, it was just me playing a bunch of games like Geometry Dash. Every time I thought about taking YouTube more seriously though, I always thought that it was too late. In 2012 and 13, I thought that the OG YouTubers like Marcus Brownlee, Nigahiga, and Dude Perfect had already conquered YouTube and that there was no more room to grow. In 2015 and 2016, I thought that the mobile gaming craze was over and that people like Chief Pat, Gaming with Molt, and Nick and Knight had dominated the space. But what I eventually realized is that there was never a perfect time to start. It was always better to start 2 or 5 or 10 years earlier. There's a quote that's like, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is right now. And the people that really made me realize this was Graham Stephan and me Kevin, and that brings us into the next question, which is, which channels inspire me? Well, first off, it would definitely have to be Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin. In 2017, I was watching a lot of Graham's real estate videos because I was considering getting into real estate. I started watching Graham Stephan for his real estate content, but soon enough I started concentrating more on the YouTube side of his business. Within just a little over a year after starting, Graham was able to grow to over 100,000 subscribers, and I was like, I guess it's not too late to start right now. I didn't want to put off starting a YouTube channel anymore, so I started posting YouTube videos consistently at the end of 2017, and we've been at it ever since. Also, Meet Kevin was posting his exposing Grant Cardone videos, and those got an insane amount of views for how many subscribers he had at the time. That made me realize that even small channels could get a lot of views if they posted the right content. So I would say Meet Kevin and Graham Stephan were the two that really inspired me to take YouTube seriously. In terms of what I want my channel to be like though, I would say the biggest inspirations are channels like Kurzgesagt, Infographics Show, Wendover Productions, Half as Interesting, Kento Bento, Jake Tran, and many more along those lines. And that brings us into the next question, which is why I make informational content instead of gaming and vlogs. As I touched on before, I actually started off making gaming videos, but the reason I switched to informational videos is because I think they're more sustainable and more valuable long term. Along the same lines, we have a question from Ming, who asked why I switched from technical informational content to science and finance content. The answer is that when I started making informational content, I really wanted to make science and finance content. But at the time, I was only 15-16 years old, so I didn't think anybody cared about what I had to say about these topics. Technology, however, is more of a teen topic, and most gamers are high schoolers or college students. So when I started taking YouTube seriously, I started making videos about technology, gaming GPUs, CPUs, gaming PCs, and so on and so forth. But eventually, I came to the realization that if I didn't switch right then, it would just be even harder to switch later on. So I decided to just give it a shot. That question was from Ming, and he's been around since 1,000 subscribers, so big shout out to Ming. Next up, we have why do I make so many videos about Elon Musk? Well, within the science and tech community, I would say that Elon Musk is by far the most exciting person to cover. He has insane ideas, extremely ambitious goals, and it's just really fun to cover his projects. And that brings us into, am I an Elon Musk fanboy? Well, I am a big fan of Elon Musk, his companies, and his work, but I wouldn't exactly say that I'm a fanboy. I think SpaceX and Tesla will be massive companies, but at the same time, I also think that Tesla is massively overvalued right now, and that SpaceX's timelines are a bit too ambitious. I'm also not fully convinced about the Boring Company or Neuralink quite yet, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. Moving on, we have by far the most requested section, which is how I make my videos. The first question is, how do I think of my video ideas? A lot of people have actually asked me this in the comments, and I didn't really have a straight answer. But I've been doing some thinking, and I think the answer is content consumption. If I'm not making my own YouTube videos and I'm not doing college work, I'm watching YouTube videos. And in most cases, a lot of my video ideas come from watching other YouTube videos. For example, Graham had that one video that was like, meet the $250 million man, and I made a video that was, meet the $10 trillion shadow bank. The other biggest way that I get video ideas is reusing ideas that work really well. For example, last year I made a video about how Elon Musk will squash Jeff Bezos to $1 trillion. That video did really well and got over 300,000 views, so this year I made a similar video about a different topic. This year, it was how Louis Vuitton CEO squashed tech moguls to $200 billion. I think having a good idea of the topics, ideas, and thumbnails that work is the best way to think of new video ideas. Next up, we have how do I research and what sources do I use? All of my sources are always linked in the description of my videos. I would say the three biggest sources for my information are articles, the companies themselves, and interviews. In terms of articles, we have publishers like the New York Times, Wall Street Journals, Bloomberg, Business Insider, MarketWatch, CNBC, things like that. As for information from companies, we have their websites and the videos that they produce. For example, we have the official websites of Blue Origin, SpaceX, and Tesla. Finally, as for interviews, I listen to a lot of interviews from billionaires like Larry Ellison, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. I basically listen to all of their interviews. I get a lot of in-depth information from these interviews, and sometimes even video ideas themselves. Next up, we have where do I get my video clips from? About 50% is stock footage from Storyblocks, and the other 50% is from companies and news publishers. Each clip is only a couple of seconds and should be covered by fair use. So far, we haven't had any issues with copyright, and hopefully that's the case moving forward as well. Next up, we have how do I produce 3 videos every single week, and for this I decided to just walk you through our entire production process. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday are my research and script writing days. Usually, I start at 8 AM and each script takes 6 to 7 hours to complete. After that, I'll record the voiceover, which takes about 40 minutes, And finally, I'll cut out all the errors and send it to my editor by the end of the day. Usually, I'm done by 4 to 5 p.m. on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. My editor, shout out to Flick Media Art, will have the Saturday video done by Tuesday, the Sunday video done by Wednesday, and the Monday video done by Thursday. On Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'll spend about 1 to 2 hours going over his edit, replacing some clips, and adding music. Finally, I'll spend about 1 hour making the thumbnail and uploading it onto YouTube. The video that I finished producing on Tuesday will go out on Wednesday, the Wednesday video will go out on Friday, and the Thursday video will go out on Monday. Lastly, on Friday, I'll spend about 1 hour finalizing the video ideas that I'm going to be producing next week. And that's basically the entire production process. Moving on to the last section of this Q&A, we have some miscellaneous questions. The first question is, was this my first channel, and do I have any tips for starting a YouTube channel? This was my first channel, and in terms of tips, I would say the 4 biggest things would be, it's not too late to start, be sure to target a niche demographic, be on top of your titles, thumbnails, and topics, and most importantly, always be consistent. Next up, we have what are my future plans with YouTube? Well, eventually, I want to experiment with animating my videos. Let me know down below how you guys feel about that. I also want to translate my videos to other languages so that more people can watch them, and both of these should be coming within the next 2 years. Hopefully. That question is from Evan Locke, who is actually one of my elementary school friends in real life. He was one of my first 10 subscribers, so huge shout out to Evan Locke. Moving on, we have, do I own a business outside of YouTube, or do I intend to? Well, me and one of my high school friends, Leo, actually started a business during high school in sophomore year. We created an Amazon FBA business and got like $15,000–$16,000 in sales, but we didn't really make much profit. So I wouldn't exactly say that it was successful, but it was a great experience and we are thinking about going back to it. Also, I do have an idea with an app, but that'll have to wait for another 3 or 4 years. As for the second to last question, we have, do I trade stocks? I do trade stocks here and there when there are some big events. For example, last year I bought some calls on Tesla when they did the stock split, and I bought some calls on Tesla when they were added to S&P 500. I also bought some GameStop calls in January and I made some good profit, but I sold that way too early. Finally, as for the last question, where would I invest all my money if I had to choose just one company? The answer to this is extremely easy. The answer would have to be Tesla. But I do gotta say, I think Tesla is super overvalued right now. We all know the saying, you can't time the market. But given how low interest rates are and how exponential the S&P 500 has been, I just don't feel comfortable buying a Tesla right now. So ideally, I would wait for a bear market in the S&P 500 before buying Tesla. Nonetheless, if I had to choose one right now, it would still be Tesla. If I could choose a couple of options, I would wait for things to cool down and then put 50% into Tesla, 25% into Bitcoin, and 25% into Ethereum. But that's pretty much it. Once again, thank you guys so much for 100,000 subscribers. Hopefully 1 million is just around the corner. But you guys know the deal. If you like this video, then make sure to drop a like and consider subscribing to see more questions logically answered. But until then, I'm Hari, and I'll see you guys on the next one. We have a weird question here from Monish, which asks, what is the biggest gift you have ever given? I don't want to drop any names, so I'll just say it was to someone called JVB.